What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, Fosco.
Literally.
Because on today's show, we're going to talk about gut feelings in business. Is that hocus pocus, Maurice Claret?
No, it's not. I think pre-show we just talked about a bunch of gut feelings.
Yes, yes.
So we go help the listeners and hopefully enjoy themselves.
Yeah. What do you think, Fosco?
I think gut feelings are something that can initiate things, but sole reliance on them is dangerous.
Yeah, okay. All right. Can't wait to get into that. It's brought to you by Robinhood. Maurice, you know the owner of Robinhood.
Yes, he sent the jet. Sent the jet. He came to her and got me. And when we boarded the jet, he said, "Please remember to say that we have no trading fees." There we go.
This guy.
On my toes.
I like it. Biceps.robinhood.com.
And what will you get, Cory?
Free stocks such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint. John?
I'm excited about that.
Because you have no trading fees.
I have no trading fees, and I don't think anyone else who goes to Robinhood has trading fees. And if you go to the App Store and download the Minty Green app, you'll get a free share, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be able to trade a little easier, and you'll save money doing so.
Love it. So without further ado, Maurice, I think it's time for Fosco's World.
Yeah. So since he's a tad bit less energetic than we're going to keep him at the 5 foot.
Hey, Bugsy Bogues.
Yeah. He's 5'7" today until he brings more energy to the table, right?
I'm in my
John, you're the night owl.
I'm in Socrates mode. Dude.
Hey, go grab another. What is this? Michelob Ultra.
The hemlock.
Hey, grab another Michelob
Grab
Ultra.
the hemlock. This guy's giving me the fucking hemlock over here.
That's so good.
Hey, the irony is that a campaign for drug and alcohol.
Yeah.
And I'm,
Give him another beer. Wake him up.
Fucking hemlock over here.
So, until further notice, he's 5'7", Johnny
good.
Fosco. But he's going to come to the stage, and I'm pretty sure if the message is delivered right, we'll have another introduction on the next episode.
There we go.
There
we go. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. Although I do not appreciate the height because it is inaccurate. So in the spirit of calmness, I'm going to speak about something that I think is valuable and is also calm. Okay? All right.
Amazing. I'm going to be fired up in my segment, John, so I'll take over for you.
Listen, there's no fire-breathing dragon today unless it gets provoked.
Okay.
So what we're going to talk about today is something that I've put in practice recently, you know. So it's no secret, the relationship that I value most in life is my mom. And as she gets older, she's got a birthday coming up. I'm like, you know, okay, it's getting closer and closer. So what can I do outside of talk about that? I said, you know what, Mom? I said, it's about 2 months ago. I said, why don't we every Tuesday find a real good therapist and let's have an hour to 2 hours worth of therapy every Tuesday night. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong. I just want to see if it'll make things better.
That's cool.
Because I am not at peace or willing to regret not getting the absolute most out of the person in the relationship that I value the most. So we've been doing it. And it's amazing. I'll tell you why. Because you'll start, and every therapist is different, but I'll speak about this experience. You start, and it's like, how you doing? Oh, good. And then the therapist doesn't want to stir shit up, but she's all, okay, well, like, where are we going with this? And I'll say, you know what? You know, actually, this happened, and it's something that's still on my mind, right? It's still in my conscience, and it feels unsettled, and it gets put on the table. But it gets put on the table when we're not in arguing mode. So I'm putting this on the table while she's at peace. She has open ears. I'm at peace. I have open ears. I'm willing and open to hear her response and try to understand her. She's willing and open to do the same to me. And what's happening is these things that I found out were wounds that I was like shook off as like, I'm good. Well, I wasn't good. I wasn't good. They affected me. And can I keep on keeping on? Yeah. But there's a better way to live life. And it's taking the relationships that you value most and maximizing them. So just like we talk about the gym all the time, what do you got to do, right? You got to shock your muscle. You got to find new ways, da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, we spoke on the previous episode about love and giving love out. Well, if you love something or somebody, why not do things different to increase the strength of that relationship? And I literally, I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship at this moment. Like, it's a practice that I will take into, I took it into my brother. Me and my brother have always been on again, off again. I said, I'll drive fucking 4 hours to Atlanta. You ready to put shit on the table? I am too. You do it. Me and my brother are closer.
That's cool.
Right? So, like, these are two people that I probably value more than anybody, and something doesn't need to be wrong to make things better. Yeah. I think that's
a great point.
That's the common misconception, right? Is like, we're good.
How about actually, where did you, because I have a brother like that, and I was just my middle brother, or he's the middle child. Mm-hmm. And where do you start? Because it's kind of like that space where, so like me and my brother, I would say it's on again, off again. It's just kind of always been like in a mild space.
Yeah.
Where we know we brothers, but the only time that I see him, hear from him, or interact with him is kind of like
because you have to,
but not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of like what he's talking about. There's nothing wrong, but if you ask me how do I get close with my brother right now, I wouldn't even say it. I guess I was asking out of curiosity because I wouldn't even know what to say. Like, meet me here, but then where's the platform to start?
So what I did was I said, listen, and I have to work very hard on my delivery. Not even when I think I may be soft, I'm not soft for most people. So I said, listen, man, like, you're my brother, you're my blood, and have we had a perfect relationship? No. Is it partially because of me? I'm sure. Is it partially because of you? Probably both of us, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't we fuck the past and focus on how we can move forward differently? Because the way we are doing it is yielding okay results, but I ain't into okay, really. I'd rather like make this shit good. Like, you're my only brother, bro. Like, so for me, in my situation, it was articulating that we can nitpick the past. We could dig in and you did this, I did. Everyone can do that, and everyone has the right to do it. But what does it get you? What's the solution?
It's the outcome.
Right. You got two people, that can happen all day long. So sure, if there's been major damage, you got to put it on the table. You got to deal with it, which is healthy for a session 1 or a session 2. But after that, it's like reset, man. It's reinvigoration. It's like it's almost feeling comfortable enough to say as a man, like, I want to have a good relationship with you. It's powerful.
Yeah. Bro, it's real powerful. I was about to ask you, is it after so many years and so much time where you're not really in the same household, is it a process of kind of like reintroducing itself, or is it kind of like reintroducing each other to each other?
Absolutely. Because what brothers do, and I feel that I'm a victim of this, is they put a caricature, right? Mo is this based on how you grew up, how you acted when you were a teenager, whenever you spent the most time with them, right? Like we make caricatures around our family members, but we don't allow typically them to grow, and we're not interested in viewing their growth. We just see them as Dominic from
They're stuck in that
2012,
area,
right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we define them as that. But
Because I do my brother like, I'm guilty of everything you're talking about.
yeah, man, and my brother does it to me. I realize I do it to him. So we really have to like say, you know, like I want it, and then after I want a good relationship, it's like you tell me like how you've changed, because clearly I'm not seeing it. So allowing the thought to enter your head that my brother isn't the same dude he was 10 years ago, because he's not. It's just impossible. Maybe he's better, maybe he's worse. Hopefully he's better. Allowing that thought to be present and then talking about it, you know, is very, very
It's
effective.
kind of encouraging me to. My brother lives in Seattle, right? So we don't even. So now we're in the
It's
time.
an older brother?
difference. Yeah, I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
You know, so you have two older brothers, and I know he feels indifferent that me and my older brother are close.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And so I can feel like, even as John was saying this, I can see a lot of his attitude came from, like, his defense mechanism was like, y'all too close, it's just me, you know, fuck
Feels
the
like
world.
the outcast.
You know, so it feels like the outcast. And then when we
You
get
put that on the table, though. That might be interesting to hear what he has to say.
bro, 1,000,000%. But when we get together and we're alone, I can always feel like he wants that closeness. You know what I'm saying? I want the close relationship with my little brother. I want like the close relationship with the older brother. You know what I'm saying? But there may be really feelings behind that. Not even maybe. I know there's feelings behind that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of this stuff, but this is what I'm talking about, getting out of your routine. Like getting out of the like, let me chase money, let me, you know what I'm saying? It like, you miss that. And then when somebody's dead, put in the casket, you be like, damn, like, what was I really, like, did I take those opportunities to make those valuable connections? You know what I'm saying? Because like what he was saying was like waking that up in me and like being more in that space. And I don't know, I'll let you go, but kind of, hopefully I articulated it the right way. At least what I was thinking.
One, I think it's amazing, John, because this is something since I've known you, you've spoke about wanting this to be better. And finally, you just grabbed it and said you had to be, no matter how much little bullshit you and Dom went through, to be able to say, no, dude, we're going to fix this. I'm going to go out of my way, which as a businessman and as busy as you are, probably isn't super normal for that relationship. Maybe that's fair to say. Maybe it's not, but that's my guesstimate because I'm the same way. That's why I'm like, because what it made me think was my sister's been trying to have lunch with me for like 3 months. She lives in Marysville, which isn't close to where I'm, but it's still an hour and 20. I got time to go do it. I can talk on the phone the whole way.
Yeah.
But and she works like a shift where she can go in the middle of the day.
She just want to see you.
Yeah, of course. And she, you know, and I'm really kind of like her. Besides my stepdad, I'm kind of like a father figure to her because my dad really wasn't around at all.
Gotcha.
And you know, I really kind of helped her, taught her a lot of things. So it's like made me think like, what the fuck am I doing?
She's not asking for much either.
Oh, dude, she knows. She's like, I know you're busy, Cory. I'm like, and I keep saying, no, I'm not too busy to come have lunch with you, but I keep putting it off. But why?
Yeah, but like y'all can meet in Westerville. That's the middle spot.
Yeah, that's what she said. She goes, I'll meet you in Dublin. I'll meet you somewhere. I mean, it's basically I'm on some bullshit.
It's our value system. It's our value system, like you said. When you
I have spent way more time. I FaceTime her once or twice a week. Like we talk more than we ever have, and there's really no any like indifferent feeling. I think it's just I'm not making time.
Yeah, and what's interesting is if you take that mindset of like you value your sister, she's your only sister, right?
Yeah.
Now take that like wanting to have a good relationship,
Yeah.
because that's a thing you could regret, right? A brother relationship, a sister relationship. Now take that approach towards the gym, and how do you view getting better in the gym?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a completely different level, of course.
And I think we all can check ourselves that way. And I would just say in closing, I can guarantee you your middle brother is in pain, but he probably won't say it because he's a man.
You're gonna have to be the person that
I
throws it out.
initiate it. Hey,
Yeah.
man, listen to me. I know.
Reese looks nervous.
No, I start rubbing my legs like put like this, right? I know it, and
As you were talking, you could see it on his face.
no, because to be honest with you, like after you get out of all this mess you've been in, you start to be like a real person who processes emotion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not in an environment where I have to be tough. I live in like the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be bang bang, tough
You're
on
not in
guard.
the hood. You're not in prison.
Yeah, so you feel like, and so the same compassion that you see with people who struggle with addiction that we help and kids, you start to see that stuff on your family members. You know, so you start to just be different than what you were. And so, you know, maybe you talking, well, I was supposed to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And,
Same.
And then you supposed to, exactly, you know, but this is like real shit. Now you're supposed to take that to somebody who could benefit and value from it, you know. And like, even as he's talking, I'm just like, man, you know, the angst behind calling my brother, like, cause he gonna be like, yo, what's up? And then I'm gonna dig real deep, right? He gonna be like, yo, what the, you know,
But that's what starts
you're
it
gonna
off.
hit a
though.
real chord.
But
Yeah,
wait,
you're
so
gonna
let
hit
me
a
ask you
real
a question,
chord.
Johnny. Though, how did Dom respond though?
So
You don't have to be super personal.
Yeah,
if you
he
wanna be.
initially responded kind of how I expected. Like, you know, he always calls me like an armchair psychologist. You can't be armchair psychologist. And then I had to really be disciplined in my responses and
to not
saying-
defense right back.
right,
Yeah.
and just hit back and just say, listen, I want a better relationship with you. I could fire back.
Plain and simple. Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you think that was from him not wanting to be vulnerable? Because, like, if he says that to you, that's like, all right, let me say something because I think I know how you'll respond, and it'll keep us in our same space. But once you decide to respond differently, he has to then be like, all right,
Oh
this
shit,
is
this
serious.
for real.
I gotta let go.
Yeah. So if you say that to your brother, like, I think I want to have a better relationship with you, he's gonna be like,
hey, he gonna be like, yo, what the fuck you got going on?
That's what he thinks.
that's good though.
And here's
I already know
one
my
thing
brother,
you know about like all of us are tactical thinkers. My brother knows that in a psychological setting that I'm a fucking witty motherfucker, and he's like, this motherfucker gonna try to outsmart me in front of it. Like, fuck that shit. And I'm like, dude,
Did you try to tell him you were being
yeah,
real?
dude, it's not about me winning or or being right.
Yeah.
It's just about improvement, and it's
awesome, John.
It's a process. So
Yeah.
everybody should try it, and if you do have fucking problems or challenges with people, you definitely gotta get a professional involved, because it is like working out for your mind and the relationship.
Really
So,
well said, John.
with that being said, let's make our way to Cory Gregory time.
All right, John. It's gonna be hard to follow that up. That was really good.
Hey, and he said I was tired.
Yeah, I know. I know. The delivery was epic. And Maurice is thinking over here. It got me thinking. It was good. All right. So one of the things I had on my notes, and it's something that happened to me as a kid, because I was always talking about these big things that I wanted to do or thought I could do, right? And so you start to get this label, and I think anybody that aspires is like a dreamer, right? And sometimes dreamers could be looked upon as like hippie-ish, or maybe not with a lot of work ethic around it, that you're just this big dream. I never wanted to be known
As a talker.
there you go, as this dreamer that never fucking did anything, because that's how it felt early, was that people were labeling me as basically a half a screw loose dreamer that shit's never going to happen, right? All this dialogues happen to all of us. And so I was listening to somebody speak the other day, and they were talking about how the dreamer can be there, but it has to be put together with so much fucking work on the backside that's the only way any of these dreams are going to come true. And I don't know when this kind of happened to me, but I had, these thoughts of like, I don't want to be known when I'm done with this stuff that I was just spitting a bunch of bullshit that never happened, because I aspired to get out of my situation, change my family's history, or do these things I thought I could do, but I want to be known as the person that actually made these dreams become reality, because that's a whole different type of legacy, right? And I just want everyone to know out there that there's a lot of people daydreaming. We all have, and imagination is what fuels us all. We see it in our heads before it ever becomes reality. But the work ethic that I learned as growing up in a blue collar household, that I realized eventually when it all kind of connected, I was like, if I can connect what I see happen, because when you're a kid, you people can tell you stuff, but what you witness is what really
impacts you.
Yeah.
100%.
So I saw 16-hour work days. I saw also the hardship of, not getting where you want to get. And I saw all these things, and I'm like, now if I can just mesh these things together to not be this person labeled as just a big dreamer that is still in the fucking trailer, that's still on the fucking corner at 50 talking about some shit that never happened. And to a degree, it's essentially kind of what my dad was. He always talked about all this stuff, but never anything ever fucking happened. And he always essentially probably was dreaming or aspiring to do these things, but he never put any work around it because he still worked his driving truck, doing his job, whatever it was. And so he would spit all this stuff all the time, and I'd be hearing it, and I'd just be like, and even as a youngster, I'm like, man, but none of this shit is even in the fucking ballpark, dude. You know what I'm saying? But I would just hear it, and I would watch it, and I didn't understand, like,
I was about to ask you.
It was just super disconnected.
I was about to ask you, what do you think, where was one of the fundamental disconnects? Like, so what made you say, what gave you the opinion behind him saying what he said, and then you seeing something, and then you say, okay, that's not, like, what innately did you see?
I think because whenever I would hear something, but then see that none of the actions, and I know I couldn't articulate it as a kid.
I guess that's what I'm trying to get you to do.
Yeah, I just could see that none of the actions were ever going to equal what he was talking about, right? Because I'm thinking, you're talking about because he started 3 different businesses when I was a kid, and none of them worked. But I never really saw I was young, but I never really saw like that drive towards making it actually work.
But you heard the talk?
But I heard the talk. You know what I'm saying? I watched him work 16-hour days in the coal mine, drive truck all night. I watched him work.
That's different.
But it is different. And that's kind of what I'm getting. So I essentially grew up around a dreamer that was eerily consistent in stuff that didn't equate to the dream coming true. And we've talked about this before, because that's one thing that, you know, I've read about, like and it could be even like borderline, maybe even not autistic, but there's something that's like on that spectrum of how I process things. But I watched it as a kid. It just never equated to what was being said. And so what I tried to do was literally take all these pieces together and say, I don't want to be known as this person, not just my father, but this in theory guy that's just sitting around like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to own that. And motherfucker, 20 years later, you're still saying the same shit. I just never wanted to be that person.
Everything you were saying to me, it just made me think about somebody not being committed to their own thoughts.
Yeah.
Or
exactly
the
what
words,
it is.
You know, because
not real self-belief, obviously.
Because you just said you're seeing work 16 hours for somebody else's ideas.
Of course.
But when it came
make someone else rich.
I'll take the money out of it.
Yeah.
I believe more in getting in John's vehicle, and that John will get me there more than I believe in myself.
Get my own. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand exactly what you mean, because it's easy to talk a good game, but then when you have to do something yourself and you have to stand behind your words, then that's a whole character call.
And I think that's why I get to a crazily almost paranoid level of work ethic, because
you don't want to be that guy.
Never will be that guy.
I think what's important too is for the listener to understand, like you said, it's good to dream. It's okay to be a dreamer. But if you are a dreamer, or you witness a dreamer, whether it be your brother, sister, friend, whoever, ask yourself or ask that person, what are you doing currently to work your way towards making that dream a reality, right?
Yeah.
Because if they're a dreamer and they're just like, no, I'm going to do it, but you ask them specifically, what are you doing towards it? I think that's what people like, maybe your dad and people were missing, the action steps, the constant activity that needs to happen to make a dream become reality. It's constant.
Yeah.
And it does never stop. And if you don't have 500 answers on how you're going to make your fucking dream a reality, you are just a fucking yapper, right?
Yeah. And he wasn't like really like a loud, outspoken. It was more stuff I kind of just heard around the house or whatever. He wasn't like a guy that was out at the bars saying he was going to do all these things. That really wasn't his personality. He's pretty a low-key dude. But at the end of the day, it was like, I think growing up hearing all this stuff never happened. It never happened. I'm playing the lottery. It's never happening. I want to do this business. It never happens. I'm going to do this. It never happens. You're just like, so really what's interesting, if I think about myself, it's like
a lot of letdown.
I saw a lot of letdown. And so to not let up which is essentially my main trait, I think, at this point on everything, especially the things I know I can do or routine or I'm good at or I have passion in. It's like I'm at that relentless level because I just never wanted to have this happen. And so that's why
You don't think it's crazy how like a mildly traumatic moment could you like impact somebody that much?
Well, I think it's you know what's interesting is about that is most people can go either way.
But think about this, like, but we try to lead so much with words, so much.
Mm-hmm.
We try to motivate people so much, but just the fact that you've seen that it can have like that much of an impact to be like, yo, this is what drives me to get my ass up every day and to not be that.
Not to be
like
that.
Imagery, you know what I'm saying?
It's clear as day, dude. And what I try to tell my kids is like, and I told this to AG the other day, I was like, I'm showing you what it takes. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to get on you, and you frustrate me just like everyone else, dad, and this and that, but I'm showing you. All you have to do is watch. My dad never showed me. I'm showing you what it takes.
Just look at it.
That's it. That's your normal.
Yeah, establishing the standard.
There it is. Time for the pirate ship, homies.
Yeah, I'll call this the I call it the success program / awareness program.
Okay.
Right. And I don't know, you two talking has like put me like in like this very introspective sort of. I've had a personal conversation with myself while y'all been talking. Yeah, just
Mo has a lot of those in himself.
Yeah,
and then text us about it, but we don't know what he's
text
talking about.
messages on the website. We will show you the text.
No, but as a thing, you know, I was just thinking about success earlier, and I was halfway alluding to it to John. It was really bridged from a book that I was reading, and you know, a lot of people have like struggles internally about, you know, what is success and are my feet planted on the right journey and, you know, am I doing something? And I think a lot of times I always say to myself, like, it's just simple. Some people keep going and some people quit. And oftentimes I look at people in society, and if I can look at the body language or energy or something they're doing and they don't look too happy or enthusiastic, I say, okay, at what point did this person just give up on themselves? And I think, like, you know, you all are building the business down here. And, you know, what would John look like if he just gave up? Like, what would your life look like? And I just think that people at some point in their life give up on themselves. But I think, like, their mentality may be misconstrued. And I'm starting to have an understanding that success is landing your energy in a place that you actually want it to be in. And you're focused on doing something that you actually want to do. And the process of like pursuing that is it, you know, because like there's no finish line that you get to some place and say, hey, you know, I got my trophy and I got my beach and I have, you know, whatever it is, you know, because life continues to go on. And I think that if we dissected everybody's brain or perspective or just experience, you'll find the most joy in people where they felt like alive and fulfilled and successful is when something that they thought about doing, they connected with it to what they're doing on a daily basis.
Yep.
And the unfolding of that process. And I think the struggle to stay on that sort of like that tightrope or that balance beam is to get through the challenges that it takes to pursue whatever it is you're pursuing. You know what I'm saying? And that's the fight. And you're fighting to stay out your own way. You know, you're fighting for self-destructive habits, and just redefining that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can birth your ego if it becomes I'm pursuing this thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm pursuing this status. You know, where like, you know, we always talk about I got to be a boss or I got to be like this. You know, this big egotistical person that feeds everybody or everybody feeds you to say, yo, you the man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just threw that around and really sinking and staying in that space as an adult. Like over this last, you know, I haven't seen y'all in a few weeks. And so over these last few weeks, I've been kind of sinking there and just being happier. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, we can get caught into these spaces where we're always thinking about what we would feel like if we get to like, you've already visualized opening up the business, right?
Sure.
And so you're thinking about how that would feel and you're not really realizing that you're at where you want it to be before you got here. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And
The unfolding is the pursuit.
yeah,
That's where the sauce is at.
So simple like this, but do you cheat yourself if you actually get that space open and then you're thinking about something 18 months from now? You feel I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't. I don't think so. And I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It's just because that I think is a personal question from person to person. But I think the answer lies in the individual. And I spoke so quickly because for me, it's in that space where, like you said, you can visualize it, right? But it's not there. And if it becomes something, and it is there, and it does work, and it is a thought that got taken and made, that is where, speaking for myself, I feel the most alive. So if I can stabilize something and move on to something else, I'll not forget about it, but that process,
That's where your enjoyment comes.
is where I get off.
Yeah, no, but even for that to be a thing,
You're good.
you know,
You're good.
my fault. No, even for, but like that's the beauty of it, you know. Even to understand that both perspectives are allowed to exist.
Exactly. Yeah.
You hear where I'm coming from, and I guess where I'm at is to not get lost. You know, what I'm saying what I'm doing, to not lose myself, and I just don't want to lose myself. I guess I'm not even about to try to make it complicated.
Do you feel like you lost yourself, Mo, and you just refound it
Reading
to a
this-
degree?
Reading this new material,
It's really helped.
man, bro. Reading this new material has me resetting on being more present and getting in tune with life. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell a pretty big difference.
Yeah, just tell you, bro. Just like listening to that lady. You listen to some stuff over and over in your ears, and you kind of dissect it and you replay your life. You just ask yourself, like, you know, what do I really mean? You know, so like, what do my actions mean, and what is success? You know what I'm saying? If I had the things that I'm attempting to have, and they were all in my possessions right now,
Right.
like where would I be at in life? You know what I'm saying?
I saw Jim Carrey talking about this stuff the other day.
You know,
He's
but-
like,
That's one of my favorite people.
yeah,
You know, say if you had those things, like, so then what would I be to people? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm telling you, bro, and it's serious,
No, it is.
because you don't want to lose yourself and to be this obtainer of things. And not to say that everybody does do that, but if you become too disconnected from, you know, just life in general.
Life is relationships. Life is people. And I just want to say it's like losing yourself. That's something I go back and forth with and say, you know, have I lost part of myself in the pursuit of that? I think the answer is no, because back to your point, there is no finish line. But have I cheated myself of a lot of time with people because I wasn't a good friend, I wasn't a good boyfriend, I wasn't a good family member, because, you know, making millions of dollars was more important. And it's like, I don't care about money, as I've said many times on this show. And yeah, I wrestle with that a lot.
I don't think I'll say this, right? Even when I started thinking about this, right? If I'm going to make money, build a business, do something, is what I'm doing, the service I'm providing or the product, creating a better life for people. Like, is my existence on this earth creating, like, is my existence in the stuff that I'm doing, is that creating a better life for other people?
Sure.
Like, that simple question. You know what I'm saying? If you go to Cory G Fitness, if you go to Max Effort, is what we doing, like, creating something better for other people? Like,
now that we have this, I think
bro,
it
I'm
is.
telling you, even with this podcast,
This podcast is
I'm
is-
telling you,
podcast is
but I
definitely-
came with a different mentality today.
Yeah.
Like, if you are we doing, like, are we really creating something better for people, or are you just hollering over a fucking microphone?
We are today, bro.
No, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But, like, when you come with that intention, it's a whole lot better than just throwing some shit together and just saying, hey, we're doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The
I think
intention-
honestly the break, essentially, which we didn't have a break from actual putting out recordings, but the break of us and then coming back like this has been amazing.
Oh, bro, listen to me. I'm up past past my bedtime and don't
Same.
even feel like it. You know what I'm saying? It's the energy, man. And like I said, I wanted to talk about so much other shit, but that was really on my heart. But I did want to say this, and I'll say it assisted me in getting to this, like not avoiding any steps in developing who you are, and not feeling like you have to cheat something because you're trying to get to a destination to show somebody you're at that destination. And what I'm referring to in general is that I've been around people lately who just want to skip the whole process of business, developing themselves, or just going through what they have to go through. And I think that some people get frustrated because we all have different starting points. We all have different finances. We have different upbringings. We have different things in our own personal lives where we wish that we can be further down the board of life, right? To get to some financial kingdom that we all think we're going to get to someday, right? Like we can fucking take the shit with us, right? But being comfortable with where you are, with what you have, and understanding that that's your process to develop, you know what I'm saying? And what you don't develop once you get older, you'll pass those same conditions on to your kids or to your family members or to the people who directly inherit things from you. You know what I'm saying? And you'll pass either the stupidity, the lack of work ethic, just like your father, what he passed on to you. Your father passed those circumstances on to you. You know what I'm saying? And then he left it to you to figure out. And so everything that you don't figure out, you leave for Alex to figure out. Yep. And it's not to say that you're supposed to figure out everything out for them, but you are supposed to create create opportunities that didn't once exist, you know what I'm saying, or create values that didn't exist. But
just show them something different.
I don't know. I'll play this. I'm looking at the time. I'm running over.
It's time for Q&A. Where's the white zebra at?
Yep.
All right, everyone, keep on sending us questions at Biz and Biceps on Instagram and Twitter. If we
He looks like he's making out with Cory's shoulder.
He looks
right
like he's making
now.
out with the mic in my shoulder.
Yeah, you know. We use your question on the air. We'll send out a free T-shirt for you.
The mic is very close to your mouth.
And sprinkles. On a recent show, Cory and John talked about how parents don't know everything. Could you go more in depth on what you believe would be a respectful way to handle the negativity that parents can give when they don't understand the grind and process to achieving your goals?
Jeremy, the grind and the process to their child
to achieve their goals.
Explain it to the parents. The parents don't understand that this child is grinding and doing all this stuff. They think they should be doing something else.
Go get a job. Go work for 30 years.
Something like that. They want to have the conversation with their parents.
So who's asking the question, the child or the parents?
The kid.
The child.
Oh, how do you explain it to the parents?
In a respectful way, I think. Is that basically?
Yeah.
Help me talk to my mother about what
I got you. Yeah, I think that lies in having a sense, or preferably a strong sense of identity, right? So if you know what you want and you know who you are and you love your mother, you love your father, you realize that the love for your mother, your love for your father, that doesn't matter when it comes to what you want to do. So if you're trying to convince them of something in regards to what you want to do, your efforts can only go so far, because they're either going to accept it or they're not. I think there's only one way to do things, and it's with authenticity, it's with honesty, and it's ultimately the truth. If they don't accept it, that's a hard thing for a kid to deal with. It's a hard thing for anyone to deal with, but you got to deal with it, because you cannot cheat yourself because other people have other plans for you. It's your life.
I didn't have to have like this exact conversation, but I just remember a couple times saying like, I don't expect you to understand it. This is like uncharted territory, but just know I believe I can make it happen, and I just need your support, not monetarily, not that if I need you to come up and help me clean the gym or paint the walls, like it has nothing to do with, just need your love and support. You're not going to understand it. And you know, mom was always like biggest cheerleader, basically like, hey, you know, you think you can go make this happen, go make it happen.
Go figure it out.
I mean, go figure it out. So luckily I didn't have anybody really like saying, no, you can't, but I really wasn't asking for approval. But I did let them know I'm cool. You know, I don't expect you to get it.
What have you learned while pitching potential business partners? More specifically, how do you avoid the potential partner you're pitching from just taking your ideas?
So okay, all right,
John, take my idea.
yeah. So at the end of the day, if you're pitching a potential business partner, I assume you mean raising capital, because if you're trying to convince somebody to be your partner, and like you should be partners, right? There should be a synergy there that wants 2 parties or 3 parties or however many parties it may be to want to work together. Now, if you're going to raise capital, you have to have. I think. Listen, you got to put things in place. Like NDAs, and you got to do stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that shit don't really matter, because if they could bankroll you, it don't matter what it says on a piece of paper. You have to have a skill going in there that money can't buy. That money can fuel, right? But it can't buy. So when you're dealing with big money, just know that, yeah, your paperwork will go in their fucking fireplace, and they'll laugh at you, and they'll fucking smoke a cigar and puff it right in your fucking face. But if your skill is something that they simply don't have and they're trying to buy it, they what are they going to steal? You are the talent. That's where sweat equity comes from. You are what they're looking for.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people think this is like a thing.
Right, I'm gonna steal your idea, bro. Like just an idea. I say this all the time. If you gave 1 million people the idea of Facebook before Zuckerberg, probably 0 of them would turn it into Facebook.
Exactly. So keep that in mind when you're pitching your business partner or capital raise. I think people overthink.
About your new energy drink company.
I think people overthink this shit.
Yeah, I think it's like little boy thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously.
Get off your tricycle.
Yeah, I just think like, man, there's like in the age of the internet, there's nothing that's hidden.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? And I could give you I can break down to you my business, how I run it, the whole 9.
Doesn't mean I can go do it.
But people don't have the interest. If it's not interesting to you, you're not going to go execute it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? You can give somebody every single detail about what you do, and if it's really of no interest, like it doesn't.
Or even 20% interest,
Bro,
they're not going to do it.
But anything that's produced in this world, even market share. Do you understand how many people sell everything the same? Bottles of water, supplements, tables, carpet, paint. You know what I'm saying? And you waste your time and you build up too much anxiety around little boy shit, because there's enough customers, there's enough people, there's enough
money.
There's enough money, bro. You know
You're putting the cart before the horse. This idea, which 1, I've never made money on, or 2, hasn't happened yet.
That's why it's called an idea.
It's so fucking great that if I tell Maurice about it, he's going to go take it and run. The fuck out of here. You haven't sold it. It isn't real. It's a fucking in your imagination still.
Yes. It's what I would do, my man. I would just focus on this, being the best service provider you can with what you do.
Yes.
And you will get an audience of people who deal with you. That's it.
I'm a 38-year-old self-employed row crop farmer in Arkansas. I can't set the prices for what I produce, and I'm not an entrepreneur. That said, I love the show, and I'm wondering what is the most beneficial thing I could apply from the show to what I do.
A what farmer?
Row crop.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yeah. So listen, you're in a business, right? So I do not know row crop farming, but I do know that it's a business because you're selling a product of some sort. What I would do is in businesses like that, and I don't want to generalize, but there is a lot of repetitive thinking because farmers aren't the most boisterous entrepreneurs. That doesn't mean that they're not smart or have ingenuity, but try to look at row farming in a different way, right? I'm sure it's been looked at by generations and generations the same exact fucking way.
Correct.
Look at the machinery, look at the speed, look at the efficiency, look at the people, look at potential alliances between companies, look at mergers. I know in farming, mergers over large areas of land where you control a percentage of the market share of a certain crop can really drive prices up and benefit you. Just look at it through a different lens, because I'm going to bet, and I don't want to assume, that you look at row farming as row farming. And row farming is a business, and it can always be improved on.
Yeah, I think, you know, the experience I got of working with John early in Max Effort was probably what this guy needs. Is he was around and took supplements and was in the gym, but he had never ran a supplement business before, never created one. So a lot of the things that I had done for 8 or 10 years, you know, was one, things were changing, and two, I had an outside perspective of somebody who understood it, but had never been in it really. So when you get somebody from outside your space, they have but know just enough about row farming to just like, you know, be a little dangerous, but they can throw you ideas that are so off the wall essentially, or so different that it can be so refreshing. So I think finding somebody that's
local businessman.
Yeah, or that understands it, but it's outside the industry, you can never go wrong with that, I don't think. And so it was like the things that John would like. The best example was I had one color that I drove home for hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Well, I thought Max should be the same way initially. We should have a power color. We should, with the brand. John's like, I think we should have all different color T-shirts. We use the same logo, but there's people in the South for Georgia. There's football for Alabama. There's Ohio State colors. Like, they'll identify with the brand. And at first I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. We had lime, green, and black, tried to do the Nike thing and murdered it. Why would we not? And I was like, well, fuck it. Let's give it a try. I never tried it that way before. Boom. It's one of the most successful things we ever did, right? But it's outside of the industry or school of thought that I had already seen be ultimately successful. But it was obviously it's worked amazing. And to have the open mind to just say, fuck it. Let's give it a run and see what happens. Absolutely. So I think that'd be a good thing for this guy to do. Cool. Ready for the main event?
Ring the bell.
All right.
Socrates is here, bro.
Hemlock.
Socrates is here.
We
There ain't no motherfucking hemlock.
we don't want you drinking the hemlock.
No.
Listen,
Drinking the hemlock. Johnny,
he's here.
gut feelings in business.
Gut
What
feelings
do
in
you
business.
what do you think when I first say that?
I think dangerous. That's my first thought. So, and this might sound hypocritical because at the same time, you have to start with them. But I think too many people start with them, they feel them, and then they continue following their gut, and they continue following their heart, and they don't enter into the real world of analytics, data, details, numbers, money, people. They just keep going with the gut. So it's a very dangerous thing to do because you're putting business or this business, right, into your own reality. You're not letting it enter reality. It's in your own reality. And it can start there. That's cool because that's how you take a vision and make it your own. But eventually it has to cross over into justification for creating the business, right? Which is okay, how big is this marketplace? Oh, the whole marketplace is $400,000 a year in the U.S.? Yeah, not the best business to invest time in. But yeah, I'd say my first instinct is danger.
Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, with me, I use gut feelings with my initial meeting with people, and I have I'm guilty of it, but it goes one of two ways: this person full of shit, or I trust them, not trust them, but I would deal with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
you think it's one or the other? Never in
between.
Interesting.
You can, yeah, because you can. I guess I categorize it as a person with an agenda. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't really get along with salesy people.
Yeah, I would say explain that because that is a real thing that I pick up on quick too, or try to. The person with the agenda, I don't want to fuck with them at all.
Yeah, the person with the agenda, how would I characterize it? Person who's always trying to sell you something. Person who acts like the relationship is tighter than what it is. the person
To
who,
benefit them,
to
as
benefit
some-
them. Yeah,
Very
It's
unself-aware.
Very, unself-aware. Yeah, very one-sided. This is kind of reiterating the whole thing, but let me get something from you. You know what I'm saying? Person who wants to get like real close, like, want to come to the house, want to meet, want to do all that. I had a call like that today on accident. I ended up calling somebody and I hadn't talked to the person in a while, and since I had a couple hours between Charlotte and here, I just said, hey, let me talk to them and give them some time. But you could tell that they reached that category to where I won't answer their calls no more. Just seriously, and I'm just protective of my time. But I usually use gut feeling, just basically meeting people, bro. And how I start to categorize people, I think all introductions with people should be innocent. You know what I'm saying? And this is who I am. This is not what I do. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I
like
think
slow the fuck down.
Yeah, 100%. And if we could just say, hey, this is who we are. Hey, oh, your kid play baseball, my kid play baseball, or oh, you like the Texas Tech Raiders or whatever they call. I like them. We watching the game. We high five. Oh, what you do? Oh, that's what you do. And if for the listeners, I'm just like going through like a mock thing of just basically meeting people before we start pushing agendas. But that's how I roll. But I think I've kind of linked towards what you're talking about with you, John. I've been taught by my guy Jeff. Let the business and the information be about the business and the information, and not be about anything personal. So I kind of got out of that space, and I think gut feelings, if you're in business, can be assumptions, and you can make an ass out of yourself. I'll give you one quick story before I pass it. Right. So this is not too long ago, so I'm guilty of it. I had a situation where there was a deal going on, and for the love of God, I promise you, I thought like a person was doing something ill to me, right? And so I didn't approach the person on it. I just thought basically how the circumstances were lining up that the person had like ill intentions, right? And so I called a third party and I said, hey man, I'm looking at this situation, and this person, man, based upon things I've been through and being in the streets, I come off very defensive at times because I'm so used to people manipulating, sneaking, conniving, robbing. It's just, what you come from, right? And so my guy was like, Reese, and this was in my gut strong, and that's what he said to get you in trouble. He said, Reese, trust me, this person isn't doing that. I thought so about this person too at one period of time, and it didn't turn out to be what it is. Well, to make a long story short,
what was the trigger though, Mo, that made you feel that way?
This is what so I think there's etiquette when you introduce yourself to people. So if I'm with John and I introduce John to Cory, I think it's proper if John wanted to have a relationship with Cory to say, hey Reese, hey, you mind if I get Cory's number?
Of course.
Or there needs to be, or if there was some personal interaction where we were all together and the number was exchanged and everybody
Don't jump the shark.
Yeah. Don't jump the shark. That could be a thing. That could be a T-shirt. Don't jump the shark,
Yeah.
right? So don't jump the shark, right? So when the person basically jumped the shark and established a relationship, the person who they established it with was like, yo, dude, start calling me. And so, because he know how we roll. He like, yo, I knew this was kind of foul anyway, but I'm just telling you what's going on. And so as I was watching the situation play out, I thought it was one thing. But what I found out is that he just didn't operate like that. He was naive. And the further I got down the road, based on everything that unfolded in front of my face, I just started to realize he doesn't operate that way. And I still got a lot of street stuff in my mind that I operate with, but my gut feeling was inaccurate. And I was blaming a guy or thinking that a guy was doing something ill when a guy had no ill intentions. He just did something that we normally don't do. But then when I brought it back, I said, yeah, we didn't grow up the same. We don't come from the same school of thought. I'm more entrepreneurial and like entrepreneurial thinking. He's more corporate thinking. And I really had to check myself and be like, man, this guy really wasn't trying to do this to me. And he didn't even mean no harm. He just was rolling with how he rolls. And so that's a prime example of my gut feeling doing me wrong. And I was an asshole in my mind. The only person you know about it was me and the guy who told me like, yo, Reese, you tripping because I thought the same thing, but it's not that. And it humbles you, you know what I'm saying? Because my gut feeling was 1,000,000% wrong.
Mhm.
Like 1,000,000% wrong. But then imagine if I act on that, you know what I'm saying? And then you can
Yeah.
you're acting on the fallacy, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And but if you all heard nothing else, hear that, you know, if somebody introduces you to somebody, right? And if you've introduced to that person, there should be like an open conversation to say, hey, do you mind if I get your number, or do you mind if I stay in contact, your email or something like that? Like that should be open shit. There should be like, or there should be multiple situations where everybody's socializing this, that, you know what I'm saying? But once you meet somebody and you start pushing your own agenda, you're trying to get something accomplished, or you're trying to benefit off of a relationship that somebody assisted you with, that's when it starts to get bad. You know what I'm saying? And that's sort of my deal. You know what I'm saying? And so I was, you know, that's my 2 cents on the book, gut feelings.
I got one question for you, John, off of what Mo said. Have you had multiple situations where you were wrong on the initial feeling?
So,
Or have you acted away and then come back and were like, damn, I should have listened to my first inclination?
So with gut feelings, I guess what I was referring to was my thoughts on starting a business.
Sure.
I wasn't
On people.
Yes. So if you want me to think about people, man, I'm gonna sound cocky here, but man, I size up people pretty good. I trust my gut, and I wait to make a judgment on people in business, and I'm not judging their character. I'm judging if they are able to do business with me, and if I just think quickly, I feel like I'm pretty on it when I see a red flag, because red flags, especially early, they tell you so much if you're willing to look at it. And here's the hardest part before I hand it off. If the person is close to you and they give you a red flag, you have to look at it. That's where people fuck up, because the person could be close to them. They see a red flag and they don't want to look at it because that person's close to them, and they continue to do business with that person, and eventually it explodes a relationship. So I'm pretty comfortable with how I size up people.
I want to add on to that real quick.
Sure.
Please understand this, and I say this with much sincerity, right? I say this, and the listener can take this home and write a check, take it to the bank and cash it. If you're dealing with somebody and you've seen them maliciously fuck somebody over,
Oh, God.
please believe me that if you get in business with that person,
Same shit to you.
the likelihood of that happening is you're in clear and present danger. I am telling you that what a person will do to somebody else, if the circumstances or the environment is the same and they feel the same way, that dog will bite your ass. And I tell you that with so much sincerity, so much heart, and so much love to the listener. And as we were saying this, I wish that we got to hit up Zuckerberg, whatever his name is.
That
Marky
sounds
boy.
like a
Yeah.
cheeseburger.
Yeah, whatever. I always get his last name mixed
Zuckerberg.
up. But I wish there was some way that we can do like a human credit check for character. I wish I could have like that
Yeah.
technology where you can be like, where a person be like, oh, you fucked Cory over 4 times. I don't have to deal with you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That'd
Like
go
a
right on your fucking
Carfax.
what is
Human
yeah,
Yelp.
Carfax.
Human Yelp.
human Carfax.
Oh, human Yelp.
Human Yelp.
Human Yelp, dude.
Jeez. I think if I think about gut feeling, whether it's business or personal, I think there's been multiple times where I had a feeling and I didn't act on it because of, I don't know, maybe a prior relationship, or you wanted to think of something else because you were excited about the opportunity. And then you come back to it and you think, I already saw that. I already saw it. And I should have acted on it. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, I mean, your point, John, that eventually analytics have to fucking make sense. But I think the gut feeling on, do you think you can make this thing work, or acting on your imagination and the path of it has to be somewhat on gut, right? And some on analytics. But there's a lot of we will things through how we just feel.
Sure.
So I think that it's like, I think, being in being one with your thoughts and not being just the fairy tale land, but when the red flags are there and the things that you know are true and you try to overlook, It's like those are hard things.
They're hard.
But and I've overlooked bunches of them before, and then came back and thought, yeah, I saw all that stuff. I should have known. You know what I mean?
Just
I
didn't
should
act on it.
Of course. So it's like I think that, and to John's point, I think my gut feelings been right a lot. It doesn't mean I made the right decision,
Right.
but I knew it. You know what I mean?
100%.
When they showed what time it was. Bang. Anything else to add to that, John?
No, I just think it's I think it's
Intuition. Everyone has it.
Yeah,
Right?
we all
it's
have
like
it
a faculty.
Yeah, we just have to. I think we just have to, when gut decisions come in play with doing business with people. I think that's when you can invest the most into a gut decision in business. When it's like, okay, I see this. Is this real? Is this fake? Is this dangerous? When it comes to investing in a business, or when it comes to monetizations processes, stuff like that, that's a different story. But when it comes to people, listen, we all need to be intelligent enough to not deny red flags because this person came recommended by a friend, or this person is rich. You know, I was talking to Jason, who's 20 years old and who works for us. He was just asking me some shit. I said, dude, at the end of the day, here's what I've learned. You know, if you're good at something, you can get partners that got a lot of money, that got a lot of power, that can take you places. But at the end of the day, the one thing that you have to zero in on with a partner, and it's the most important thing, is are they a good person, or what you would qualify as a good person? Because the money, the power, that shit can start as an asset and could be the biggest liability against you, because they will use it on you.
Yes, sir.
So when you're looking for a partner, dude, it's nasty. When you're looking for a partner, it's like, is this somebody that like I'd be cool with like having at my table on Christmas with my mom? You know,
Man,
like
listen to me. We should probably do an episode about that later on.
yeah.
Just even when you said I had a person pop up in my head like bing, like a straight like I love you on the front side if you got a good idea, but when you're in debt with me, I'm about to leverage the shit out of this.
Yeah, you like your house you're in? Yeah, you ain't gonna be in it long.
Straight assholes, but guys get that when they go searching for capital. You know, you stick your mouth out there, you searching for capital, you fishing for your business, something that you didn't put a whole bunch of work into. And then you get put into a situation with bad debt, or to somebody who can fund your idea, and the next thing you know, you become
bury you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's another story.
I think it was good, guys.
Yeah.
Good episode. It's brought to you by Robinhood. No trading fees. Robinhood.com.
Maurice.
Biceps.robinhood.com.
/biceps.
I mean, you know, you end up with free stocks such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint.
And dude, I was looking
Download the app.
Dude, I was looking at fees. You know,
Why are you paying fees, John?
I was about to say in previous years, tax returns, but you didn't let me
I
finish.
was fucking with you.
And it really made me realize, like, damn, Robinhood would have fucking saved me.
You've done a lot of trading, John. You probably paid a lot of fees in your day.
Yeah, no, and I want you guys to understand, this is for the guys who haven't traded, like, trading's expensive. Selling is expensive. You get hit on the buy side and the sell side. And if you trade, it's not like you just buy at one stock. You know, you're moving, you know, and you're shaking. And Robinhood doesn't charge you fees, and God bless them for it, because they found a way to capitalize severely on the industry. And like we always say, you know, a good deal is when both sides win, and you are winning if you're not paying trading fees.
And you're also winning if you get a free stock such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint. If you go to biceps.com /buy Robinhood. Biceps.robinhood.com.
There we go.
It's past,
Help me out, John. Help me out.
it's past your bedtime.
It
Cory.
is past my bedtime, but Maurice Claret,
Yes.
Johnny Fosco, can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast can't be